Hey, Janice.
Hi, Anthony.
Today we're going to give you some tips for cleaning out the deceased's home. So here are our tips for cleaning out the deceased's home and getting it presentable for sale. Okay. So the first step is to identify what are the estate cleanout problems for this particular situation. So here's some examples. The big one is, did the decedent die recently or has some time passed since has it been unoccupied for a while? We see a lot of that. Folks move into rehab or nursing care or just were not well and not able to take care of things. So you'll have a lot of disrepair. You could have leaks, mold, gas shutoffs we've seen a couple times.
Yeah.
Rotting food in the fridge. Just those are some of the potential issues. Whereas if you had somebody who passed away, I guess suddenly or, was living comfortably and actively up until then you have a house that you just need to move.
Right.
So you got to see if that's one of the issues.
And it still takes a little while to get into the house, especially in New York. You still have to have permission to enter, and it's not going to be immediate. You won't walk in the next day.
So build that all into your timeline for sure.
Yep.
Next, you need to figure out the amount of clutter. This can mean figuring out the size of the home or the square footage of the apartment. Something that we see a lot, unfortunately, was the person a hoarder. We have seen the stacks of newspapers, the rooms full of butter tubs. That was an interesting one, like Land O'Lakes butter. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you never know when you'll need a butter tub.
Whatever. And then whatever the size of the apartment or home and whatever the amount of clutter, how much are the heirs taking with them? Have they claimed or said, hey, we want this, this, and this? Because that'll, of course, reduce the net amount of cleanout you have to do.
Yes.
And then lastly, do you have any property-specific issues? We've talked about these in the past. Make sure we throw some links in for these. Co-ops in New York are a very unique animal. And we've been dealing with a loft lately. That has some very specific issues as well. So, elevators, permissions from the board, any of that type of stuff, make sure that's all accounted for when identifying your clean-out plan, I guess you'd say. Yeah?
Yes. Yep. Because both of those take more time. That's added on to that first step that you talked about with the rotting food and such.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next, you got to find the best clean-out service for your estate. I'm going to use two phrases sort of that sound similar. There's clean out and cleaning services. Clean out are the dudes, the big burly dudes who come in and just carry out furniture, books, just clean out the place. Whereas the cleaning service is the scrubbers, Windex. Have I described that clearly?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So what does the best clean out service look like for an estate situation? Number one, do it in one shot. Make sure you're dealing with a team that's experienced and knows how to size and estimate the deal and will bring enough crew members, team members and trucks to handle it in one day. There's almost no apartment in New York that can't be handled in one day, right? I guess maybe there's like a
amount of people to move it.
As long as you have enough people or enough truck making runs. So unfortunately, we had a bad example where, I'm just going to throw them under the 1-800-GOT-JUNK for a 2,500 square foot loft. Sent one truck with two very dainty looking guys, not even burly guys.
Even burly, yeah. And there was a lot of stuff.
And because of that, we ended up having to extend our clean out over, have it run over 2 days. That was when you're getting co-op permission and reserving an elevator and denying the other residents the use of the elevator that day, it just creates a lot of problems. Do it in one day, and find reliable services that can make sure they do it in one day. We were not so lucky on that one, unfortunately.
No, not so much. Sometimes we haven't had an issue, but that was big.
That was disappointing. Let's put it that way.
It was because time is money across the estate. I mean, it is what it is. Got to do it right the first time. But we learned, didn't we? Yeah.
We learned. Got junks. Maybe not so good at estimating. Anyway, next.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, make sure whatever service you work with is reputable and insured. Buildings will require a COI or certificate of insurance. They're not just going to let anyone tramp up and down their halls and through their lobbies and whatnot. Okay. And co-ops and neighbors will appreciate well-mannered crews if they're showing apartments or if they're just, living there, they don't want bubble wrap or tape or bric-a-brac littering their halls or elevators. So a well-mannered crew goes a long way with keeping a good relationship with your neighbors and your co-op board.
Yep, absolutely.
And lastly, a good clean out crew will leave it broom clean. So we've had excellent services that not only clean out all the junk, but actually bring in brooms and get it literally broom clean. We've unfortunately had other services where there are little bits of extension cords and zip ties and, masking tape left everywhere. It doesn't matter because as we'll talk about next, we have a cleaning service, so it doesn't matter that much, but it is, unprofessional, and it does shift the burden and increase the cost onto the next stage, the cleaning service. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So the last step the last tip for cleaning out a deceased's home is how we're going to choose your cleaning service. So the goal here is not to be able to move in, live, and eat off the whatever, right?
Well, you don't want to eat off the floor, but you want to be able to present a clean floor, right? Yes.
You need to get this to the sellable condition, and that might mean different things for different situations. If this is a situation where, yes, we intend to market it to the average newlywed couple or the average, average retail buyer, then yes, you need to get it to very, very close to pristine condition. However, if you know and acknowledge that your situation is only going to be attractive to investors, broom clean is fine. If there's a thin layer of dust, it doesn't matter. They're going to come in and
they're going to start over.
Exactly. Yeah. So don't waste too much time or effort in that area.
And money.
One last tip is that if the situation is borderline toxic, meaning if the decedent passed away, unfortunately, there's sometimes, pools of blood, which we've seen, right? I don't want to get too detailed here.
No, but
or if the bathroom hasn't been tended to in a while, or the kitchen, that the level of mold or rot can reach pretty extreme levels, then you may not be able to use a generic janitorial service, and you may need to go bump it up a level and hire, try Googling for a local crime scene cleaner. And then I know that might sound extreme, but they can do a sort of a next tier or next level type of job on certain situations.
Yeah, they're trained in that. They have all of the right equipment, whereas someone that came in with Windex isn't going to fix that particular problem.
Yeah, that's not going to be Swiffable.
No, that's a good one. Swiffable, that's a new word as well for the day. No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's it. Just our 3 quick tips on how to, approach the clean out and cleaning of a decedent's home and getting it ready for sale.
Absolutely. There's a lot to probate. We've talked about this before. To dig in deeper, I'd recommend Anthony's book, How Probate Works, available on Amazon.
Perfect. Thank you, Janice, as always. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will talk soon next time. Bye now.
Talk soon.